Why, hello everyone, Contridium here, and in today's video, I'm just going to be talking over some of the best lures that I use right now. And what I mean by right now is spawn. Usually from about April to early June is considered spawn for me. That's when I fish the most, and that's basically when I go every single day, and by far have the most fun. But to have the most fun, I have to catch a lot of fish, and I have to catch big fish, and I know exactly what to use, and that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So we're just going to hop right into it. Just letting you guys know, I will be going from the worst lures to by far the best. I'm not going to go over all the 500 lures that I have in my tackle box, but kind of just the best ones that I actually use on a day-to-day basis. So let's just hop right into it. Starting off with the very worst lure that I use right now, rattle traps. So rattle traps are actually great lures, but they're not great for spawn. Now, I use these during spawn only to fish rivers, and the reason for it is because they do catch fish. Now, these will catch fish all year round. You really don't have to just use them during spawn. But during spawn, fish are going to be more shallow rather than deep. So if I were to use these, it'd be kind of late spawn, not really early spawn. Coming up next, chatterbait. Now, chatterbaits are one of my favorite lures to throw, and they are good lures if you know how to use them and you know how to work them right. But really, I don't catch many bass on these, mostly just northern. So when I am fishing a river, I always throw a chatterbait. When I do like to use these, I always throw a trailer on there. So I got a cute little swim bait trailer on there. Still a good lure, just not the best. All in all, these are going to catch more fish than a rattle trap. That's why I put them next. Coming up next, you guys might get mad at me for this one, frogs. Now, the only reason I'm putting a frog so low in this list right now is just because it doesn't have the cover this time of year. Now, if you were to throw this really close to the shore and you were to bring it out kind of past the weed line, there's a chance for a hit, but it's still not that great. But I have caught a lot of fish on frogs during spawn. So frog, great lure, super fun to use, but it's not really at the time where it's really good to use. Coming up next, basically the frog's cousin, cute little jitterbug. Now, these lures are fantastic, and I love watching them go through the water left and right and left and right. But you really have to find fish when you use one of these, and you really have to throw it in the right spots. It's the only reason why I have it right here. Other than that, super fun lure to use, and it's a pretty damn good lure. Coming up next, one of my personal favorite top waters, the hula popper, or a popper. When I was 12 years old, I had pulled a 7-pound, 22-inch largemouth bass off of a tiny little popper. It was actually the smallest popper you could buy. And ever since that point, I've always loved poppers. I love the sound they make. I love how hard they are to use. They're always a challenge, and they catch a shit ton of fish. They're very good lures. Fish will hit them very aggressively, especially during spawn. And overall, just a fantastic lure. Coming up next, my go-tos when I go up north and fish for big fish, Squarebill crankbaits. These lures are great in lakes. These lures are great in rivers and creeks. As long as you know how to fish them and you know the depth of where you're fishing, these will always work. And the fish will just slam them. Now, when I go up north and fish during spawn, I love to use this lure right here. The other one that I like to throw when I'm up north is this one right here. Both of them are equally amazing at catching fish and extremely reliable. Coming up next, swim baits. So I got these cute little swim baits here. I get them for about $1, and they are very good. Personally, I prefer these smaller ones rather than the bigger ones, but that's just my personal preference. There's multiple different sizes. Overall, if you're gonna use one of these, they catch a lot of fish, all different types of fish. They're very easy to use, and they're really reliable. All right, we're kind of later on in the video. Right now, we're getting into by far the best lures. Up next, jerk baits. Super reliable, catch a bunch of fish. You can fish them in basically any depth of water and still catch fish, and you can catch just about any fish on them. Now, when I throw jerk baits, I love to throw these shiny jerk baits, and I just get absolutely slaughtered by northern with these. Now, if you're not fishing for northern, bass will still absolutely destroy these lures. Even walleye, even smallmouth, I've caught basically everything on these lures. Even sunnies. They're a fantastic lure. You can get them in a whole bunch of varieties of shapes, sizes, colors, and overall, by far, one of the best lures to use. And not even just right now, any time of year. They're always reliable. Now, the only downside and why these aren't number one, because these are personally the best lures that I use, is because they're very hard to use. They are very hard to use, and they're hard to get the technique down. Other than that, by far one of the best lures I use. Up next, Senkos. Now I'm guessing you guys can see the fact that I wacky rig my Senkos no matter the time of year. These things are phenomenal. No matter where you're fishing, what body of water you're in, you will always catch fish on Senko worms. I don't use sinkers with these. I just wacky rig them, slap the hook on, and throw them wherever. And I'll just get slaughtered by bass over and over and over. Now, I do have a crazy story. Last year, actually, I had caught a 32-inch northern on a freaking Senko. It was this nice fluorescent yellow Senko. It was super, super weird, but super, super cool. Sunnies will hit these. Bass will absolutely destroy these things. Not just right now during spawn, but any time of year. And they're a fantastic lure to use, and also relatively easy to use. All right, everyone. The very last one, by far my personal favorite, Buzzbaits. Now this Buzzbait right here is by far the best Buzzbait I've ever used. Shout out to my absolutely beautiful, amazing girlfriend for buying this for me for Christmas. This is the Counter-Strike Buzzbait by Booyah. This thing has 2 spinners on here, and it makes the loudest sound possible. These things are insanely loud, and over and over and over again, I just get absolutely clobbered by fish. Whether it's northern, massive bass, I've actually caught sunnies on these. It's a phenomenal lure, and holy buckets, you get some big freaking fish from these. If you know how to fish them, and you know how to use them, and you know where to throw them, they are by far the most reliable lure during spawn. All you really have to do is reel in and keep your pole tip up. Super, super easy, a phenomenal lure. Not a lot of people actually use these anymore, which kind of makes me sad because they're such a fun lure to use. But if you are going to use one, super easy to use. If you're going to get one, get the Counter-Strike Buzzbait. I love these lures. They're fantastic. Extremely, extremely reliable. Anyways, now that we're all done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope what I shared today has helped you out at least a little bit. I hope you catch more fish with these lures. If you guys need any tips or tricks on how to use these lures, let me know in the comments. And that's really about it for today. I hope all you have a blessed day. I'll see you guys later.